Hello, welcome back. Today, we continue the story from the series Stranger Things. This is a simple retelling for English learners. The level is A2. I speak slowly. I use easy words. You can listen and relax. You can pause if you want. Now, let us continue the story. The story continues in the small town of Hawkins. It is the next day after Will disappeared. The town still looks quiet from the outside. The streets are calm, the houses look normal, but the people feel nervous inside. Something feels wrong in Hawkins. Parents worry about their children. They watch them more closely. They do not let them go far alone. People talk about Will everywhere. They talk in the street. They talk in shops. They talk at home. In the morning, Joyce wakes up very early. She opens her eyes slowly. She feels tired. She feels weak. She did not sleep well during the night. She wakes up many times. Each time she thinks about Will. Joyce sits on the bed for a moment. She listens carefully. She hopes to hear a sound. She hopes to hear Will moving in the house. She hopes to hear his voice. But there is nothing. The house is silent. Joyce stands up slowly. She walks through the house. She calls Will's name softly. She waits. She calls his name again. She waits again. There is no answer. Joyce goes into the kitchen. She looks at the table. She looks at the chair. Usually, Will sits there. Usually, he eats breakfast there. But now, the chair is empty. Joyce feels fear in her chest. Joyce walks to Will's room. She opens the door slowly. She looks at the bed. The bed is empty. She looks at the clothes. They are still there. Everything looks normal, but Will is not there. Joyce feels panic. Her heart beats faster. Her hands shake. She knows something is very wrong. Joyce believes Will is alive. She feels it inside. She talks to the wall. She talks to the lights. She asks Will to answer. She asks him to give a sign. The lights flicker. They turn on and off. Joyce stops breathing for a moment. She feels hope. She feels fear at the same time. She believes Will can hear her. Joyce decides to stay at home. She wants to be close to Will. She wants to listen. She wants to wait for signs. She does not want to leave the house. At the same time, the boys meet again. Mike is there. Dustin is there. Lucas is there. Will is not with them. They feel sad. They feel empty inside. The boys talk about Will. They talk about his bike. They talk about the forest. They talk about the road. They talk about the night he disappeared. They feel afraid. They feel guilty. They believe they should help Will. They believe they should do something. They do not want to wait. They do not want to be passive. They want to find their friend. The boys hide 11 in Mike's basement. She stays there quietly. She sits on the floor. She looks around slowly. The basement feels safe to her. She does not want to go outside. Mike brings 11 food. He brings her water. He puts the food on the table. 11 eats slowly. She is very hungry. She is very tired. Mike talks to 11 calmly. He speaks softly. He asks simple questions. He wants to help her. 11 listens carefully. She looks at Mike. She does not trust easily. Dustin and Lucas watch 11. They has questions too. They want to know who she is. They want to know where she came from. They want to understand her. 11 stays quiet. The boys talk about Will again. They show 11 a picture. They ask if she knows him. 11 looks at the picture carefully. Her face changes. She reacts. 11 points with her finger. She makes a small sound. The boys look at each other. They understand something important. 11 knows Will. This gives them hope. Meanwhile, Joyce stays at home. She sits close to the wall. She looks at the lights. She speaks to Will slowly. She asks simple questions. She waits for answers. Joyce puts more lights on the wall. She makes the alphabet. She points to letters. She asks Will to answer with the lights. The lights move again. Joyce cries. Joyce feels hope. Joyce feels fear. She feels both at the same time. She believes Will is close. She believes he is trying to talk. At the police station, Hopper works. He thinks about Will. He thinks about Joyce. He thinks about the lab. He feels something is wrong. He cannot explain it clearly. Hopper decides to investigate more. He goes to the laboratory. The building looks clean. The people act normal. They smile. They answer questions calmly. But Hopper does not trust them. He feels something is hidden. The answers are too short. The faces look nervous. Hopper remembers Joyce's fear. At school, the boys try to act normal. They sit in class. They look at the teacher. They hear the words. But they do not really listen. They think about Will. They think about 11. They think about the forest. They think about the night. They cannot focus on school. The boys talk quietly. They make a plan together. They believe 11 can help them. They decide to search for Will. They decide to go to the forest. Later, Joyce hears a sound in the house. The lights move very fast. Joyce gets scared. She stands up quickly. She follows the sound. Joyce walks through the house. She looks at the walls. She looks at the ceiling. She feels cold. She feels danger. Joyce sees the wall move. Something pushes from the other side. The wall stretches. A shape appears. Joyce is terrified. Joyce screams loudly. She believes the monster took Will. She cannot breathe. She feels helpless. She feels broken. Joyce runs outside. She screams for help. Her neighbors hear her. They come outside. They look confused. They try to calm her. At night, the boys go to the forest. They take their bikes. They take flashlights. The forest is dark. The forest is quiet. They feel scared. The boys call Will's name. They shout. They listen. There is no answer. Only silence. 11 walks with the boys. She feels weak. She walks slowly. She looks around carefully. She listens to the sounds. 11 stops suddenly. She feels something strange. She points to a place. She knows something is there. The boys trust her. The boys feel hope again. They believe they are close. They believe they can find Will. They continue walking. They do not give up. This was the end of episode 3 of season 1. The story is not over. Many things are still hidden. Danger is still near. In the next video, we will continue the story. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode.